Craig, when you, like I said, you talked a lot about Iowa. Do they compare favorably to teams you've played in the past, like the San Diego State or BYU even, or do they compare favorably? Do they kind of stand out from teams you've seen in the past while you've been here?
I think that probably the closest comparison may be Michigan State, a team that we played a couple years ago, and they were a real physical football team. We played them up there. It didn't turn out very well. I like to think our football program has matured and progressed, but that would be probably a more comparable opponent than anybody else. San Diego State somewhat.
With Nathan Stanley being named QB, he's a young kid, sophomore. How do you make sure you go into it not underestimating him in the pocket?
Well, we're not in position to underestimate anybody. I certainly think pocket presence is going to be important. Anytime you have a young quarterback, it's going to be our job to take him out of his comfort zone. If a quarterback can get in a rhythm, you really have a difficult time. Once again, just like what I was stating earlier, for us to stay out of third down and long, that's going to be important for us to create a lot of third down and longs. And when we're able to do that, then that opens up our defensive call sheet.
Coach, you mentioned James Butler. I guess, first, what was your reaction when you realized you would have to see him again, but also just having him and Wadley back there? How dangerous is that duo with both the run and the passing game?
Well, he's an excellent running back, and I believe they have two players on their team that have transferred from the Mountain West, and we know a lot about both of them. Butler gained 1,300 yards last year. He secures his paths low. He's got breakaway speed. That gives him a 1-2 punch, and I see him being an excellent running back, and there's no doubt. Kudos to him. He graduated, and I guess he always wanted to play at Iowa, so now he's going to have his opportunity.
Greg, I know you established Logan as your starting center in camp and did some experiment. Do you like where your offensive line is going into this first game, where it stands looking at the depth chart? We
certainly do. I think we're further along than we've been since I've been our head coach, and that's going to be important in this game. Establish the line of scrimmage. That front four that Iowa has is they're disruptive, they're strong, they're physical, and for us to be able to move the line of scrimmage is really going to be important, but we feel good where we're at.
You named your captains over the weekend again. Do the coaches pick those, or is it voted on by the players? And what are your thoughts of your 4 captains this season?
Well, those captains were chosen by our players, and they voted. We feel really good about the leadership of those 4 men. I think that's one of the best honors a guy can get, to be chosen by his peers as a leader on the football team. And it's been my experience as a head coach, the better leadership you have on your football team, the further you're going to go. And so these 4 men, I think, are excellent leaders, and we're certainly excited about, I'll be personally excited about working with them.
Craig, you mentioned Michigan State. You played Oregon that year as well. I know you mentioned during the summer that maybe you're a little bit ahead of where you thought this program would be going into your 4th year. Remembering back to where you were then, taking a team to a place like Iowa, are you far more comfortable with your program taking a team on the road to a Power 5?
Well, I personally am, and a lot of it is we just know each other better. The trust factor is important. I've been in the living room of almost everybody on this football team. They believed in our coaching staff. Physically, we're in a different place. We're bigger and stronger and faster. However, we still got some work to do, and this is going to be a great challenge for us. But not only a great challenge, a great opportunity to go on the road, play a quality, nationally recognized program at their home place. It's a great opportunity for us.
Coach, obviously, 2nd straight year this team goes into a Big Ten stadium. The Nebraska game didn't end the way you wanted, but first 3 quarters you guys were right with them. I guess looking back at that matchup, what do you guys take away from that and going into a Big Ten stadium again?
Well, it's been my experience, particularly our experience, the very beginning of the year. Execution really comes into play. During the course of that game, turnovers were really, I think, a deciding factor, and we need to win the turnover margin and do that by executing and taking care of the football, or ball hawking, taking it away from them. I don't know. I think we're probably -3 or 4 in that ball game. It was a long time ago, but our guys, I think they're, we play in a really, really competitive conference, and certainly we have a great deal of respect for the Big Ten Conference. I've got a great deal of respect for Coach Ferentz, but our guys are not gun shy. There's a great look in their eye. I know they're going to embrace this challenge and this opportunity.
Coach, that kind of leads me to my question in terms of what's kind of the mental makeup of your ball club. I mean, last year you felt pretty good going into the season. How would you describe where you're at coming out of fall camp?
I think much more competitive nature. That comes about because of confidence, and when you're confident, you're going to play faster, you're going to play more aggressive. We're deeper, and as a result of that, the competition during the course of spring ball and fall camp has been, I guess, more intense, and with that breeds a great deal of confidence. And so we're going to need all that to go into on the road. Anytime you go on the road, it's a challenge, particularly a place that's got a proven track record. But I like where we're at. We like where we're at.
Wherever you look on Facebook, Twitter, it's hashtag building something special. That's your guys' motto. I guess to kind of piggyback off of his question, what have you built up most coming out of spring and fall? Is it mental? Is it physical?
I think confidence, and also just, there's a bad taste in a lot of our guys' mouth. While we did some special things last year, we ended with a couple losses that were not very enjoyable. And that's putting it lightly. Josh's last pass was a pick. He didn't want to have his legacy left with his last pass being a pick. And I think that this notes that this football team's got unfinished business, and they're hungry, they're confident, but they recognize we got some more wins to get under our belt.
Coach, with Rico Gafford at kick returner, I know he's a pretty speedy guy. What did he show you to kind of take hold of that spot?
He's got excellent speed, and I don't know if the University of Iowa knows much about him. He went to Iowa Western. He's from Des Moines, though, and I believe he held the state record in the 100 meters. And so he's got breakaway speed. He's always had somewhat of a nifty ability, and so that's why we chose to put him back there. Most of the time, kickoff return is a little bit different than a punt return. The punt return is predicated a little bit more on making a couple guys miss. The kick return is catch the ball, find a crease, and get going north and south.